Before we even start, I want you to understand that, sis, you are not broken. You are conditioned. And I want you to understand that it is time to step out of the matrix of doing what everybody told you to do and not showing up for yourself. Being stuck in survival mode, running on autopilot, and not actually living the life that you want to live, because nobody can save you but you. This live today is about the mindset shift that built my six-figure habits. How I stepped out of survival mode and stopped living the paycheck to paycheck cycle. How I created a business that supports me. I get paid to just speak to people about my passion. And I do that because I have rewired my brain to stop thinking as if I have to follow a path. The only path you have to follow is the one that you choose. So before we even start, I want you all to tap the screen, share the live as you're coming in, and we are going to talk about your lack of visibility, your fear of being seen, because you're not broken, right? You're conditioned and you are afraid to be seen, and that is why your business is not growing. All right? So before we even start, I want you to drop one thing that you're done with in 2026. And there's a purpose to this, because you today are saying that I am leaving my broke habits in the past. And those broke habits could be fear, they could be burnout, they could be procrastination, whatever it is, whatever is keeping you from stepping into the woman that you know you are called to be in order to build your business, whether that is having 10K months, 10K days, whether that is leaving the job life that's just over broke because you want a life of freedom. You want to be paid to exist, whatever the case may be. That's what this live is about. You have a conditioning problem. You don't have a strategy problem. You have a visibility problem, and it starts within you. All right? So it's time for you to say, what am I leaving behind? Am I leaving my fear of success? Because most likely that's what it is. It's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of success. Are you leaving hustle culture and burnout? Are you leaving procrastination? Let me know in the comments, tap the screen, and tell me what it is you need to leave in 2025 so that you can step into 2026 a new woman. And like I said, fear of failing definitely is one that most people think, but their true fear is that fear of success, or you're overthinking. You're procrastinating. So you're overthinking the plan. You already know what to do. Let me know, how many of you all already know what to do? That's what I want to know. You already know what it takes to have the six-figure habits. You already know what it takes to have the business that you want, but you keep procrastinating. You keep deviating from the plan. You keep letting the excuses kick in. If that is you, let me know in the comments. And I'm going to be real with you. You don't have a strategy problem. You have a visibility wound. You keep praying for overflow while your nervous system is still programmed for survival. You are caught in the matrix. You are caught in the system that tells you to go to school, get a job, pay your bills, and retire at 65. And that is exactly how you're operating. You're operating from the matrix, operating from the programming, operating from the subconscious, and then wondering why your life doesn't look the way you want it to. You're following someone else's plan. That isn't your plan. That is what you were told to do. And now you're like, this doesn't feel good. This isn't working. And you don't know how to fix it. Or maybe you do, but you're afraid to, because you're afraid of what it looks like on the other side. You're afraid of being the woman that actually can hold on to the habits and the success that she craves. And so instead of doing exactly what you know you're supposed to do, post the content, create the digital product, run the business, become the coach, whatever that is, right? Instead of you doing that, you are procrastinating and living in fear and letting it control you and letting it keep you stuck in a life that you hate. Because let me be clear, you hate the system, you hate the matrix, you hate the way that you are living, but you are too scared to step out and do what you know you're supposed to do because you were taught that being seen is detrimental to you. Your nervous system does not know what to do when people see you. Am I wrong? When people see you clearly, you run, you shrink, you hide. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. All right, so once again, you're not lazy, you're conditioned. And so today we're going to talk about how that conditioning keeps good women broke, how that conditioning keeps women who know what to do, know how to run the plan, run the strategy, stuck, and how you can actually rewire it so that you can have success. There are so many women on here that I know have $1 million ideas stuck right here. They might have pieces of it that they have started to implement, but their nervous system, themselves, their mind is keeping them from actually achieving the life that they want. And it's the conditioning, it's what you were taught. And so I'm going to tell you a story about how I learned to shrink myself back in 7th grade. I will never forget this. I was an athlete. I was an athlete. I'm not much of one now. I'm a single mom with 3 kids now. But I was an athlete. I am the woman who has the big personality, the drive, and the determination in the voice. Y'all, I'm loud. If you can't tell, I'm like probably yelling at you right now. But I'm loud. I show up big. I have a big personality. You might be right, because I'm even sorry, my tripod is broken and the new one hasn't gotten here yet. But Mama 3 definitely sounds like an athlete when you put it in that perspective, because I'm usually driving them to their athletics, taking them to their events, running around. So I get you. Thank you for the daily heart me, Soraya. But yeah, so big personality, always showed up as my authentic self. All of a sudden, my basketball teammates came to me and they were like, "You're too much." They literally told me this, to the point where anytime I showed up as my authentic self, they literally started to sing the chant, "Too much." And you know what that taught me? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But you know what that taught me? It taught me that I wasn't good enough to show up as myself. So what did that do? It made me shrink, cut back on being myself, and try to get in line with the people that are around me, right? So instead of having my big energy and my loud voice and showing up on the basketball court ready to dominate, I began to literally like question what I was doing in my head, overthink it, and say, okay, are my teammates judging me? Is the other team going to think that I'm too much when I'm just trying to defend them? Maybe I shouldn't take the shot. So I started second guessing myself too, because I didn't want to be labeled as too much. And now as an adult woman, or as I moved into adulthood, that started to show up in every area of my life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So now, instead of being able to walk into a room and own it and feel confident that I deserve to be here, I would start looking around and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they can see me. This feels uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. Well, guess what? That was a nervous system response based on the conditioning that was told to me, because I didn't tell myself that. Let me be real, I allowed the external forces outside of me to tell me that who I am is not good enough. And so because I am not good enough, I have to second guess every single thing that I do. And so I went through my teenage years literally second guessing everything. I went through my 20s literally second guessing everything, overthinking, procrastinating, not doing exactly what I was supposed to do to get to the lifestyle that I wanted because they told me I was too much. How many of you all have been there? Somebody told you were too much, you were not enough, you weren't what they expected you to be. And so because of that, you said, I'm going to shrink and I'm going to fit the mold. I'm going to perform exactly how they say I should be instead of being me. You are not authentic because you are scared that you would be rejected. I'm glad you relate because I'm about to teach you how to shift out of it. But first you have to recognize that you are operating from this place to begin with. So I appreciate the likes. Katsana, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for liking the live. So what it looked like in my 20s as I began to build my businesses and begin to build my work life, every time I got close to success, something in me pulled back. Remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's not because I didn't want it, because I know there are tons of people out here who want it. I know there are tons of people who want to have a lifestyle of success. They want to live the six-figure, the multi-six-figure, the $1 million lifestyle. But because your brain didn't feel safe winning, you pulled back. Am I wrong? You didn't feel safe being seen. So you said, you know what? I'm going to stop right here. I'm not going to pursue this anymore because this feels uncomfortable. This doesn't feel safe. So you sabotage your own success. If you've ever felt like that, I see you. I know that you feel like you were afraid of failure, but you weren't scared to fail. You were scared of the woman that you would have to become to be successful. That's the truth here. So I'm going to make it plain for you. Here's how your visibility wound is keeping you broke. You underprice, number one. Because being paid well feels like being too much. How many of you all have ever walked out or created a product, whatever you do, right? Whatever you sell. And you're like, I'm just going to slightly underprice myself as a strategy so that I can bring in more buyers. Scared of them. Because it's true. But yeah, so I make jewelry and I can't tell you how many times I've gone to these artisan markets where I sell the jewelry and I'll walk around and there are other vendors there, obviously. And the women, clock it, the women in particular are the ones when you ask, oh, how much is this? This is beautiful. They shrink, they hesitate, and they say, oh, it's $10. It's whatever, name whatever price. But then you look at the craftsmanship on it and you're like, what do you mean this is $10? I know that you put time and energy and effort into this. Sis, what is your time actually worth to you? How many hours did you spend creating this beautiful creation for you to only pay or charge $10 to a potential client? And I find myself going in and telling them, no, how much do you actually want to charge, and asking that question and then paying that price, because they need to understand that they're worth more and that it is okay to have a price that is a standard for what you do and to receive from that price. That is life-changing. That is how you rewire your brain. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe with charging the price that you want to charge or that you're worth. Forget about want to charge, that you're worth. And so you have fooled yourself into thinking if I undercharge, it's going to bring more clients and I'll still make my money. But that's not what happens. Every time you undercharge, you reinforce that I am not worthy of being paid a price that is worth my effort, my time, my skills. And you deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to be paid what you're worth. But you need to prove that to yourself. Or number 2, you over-deliver. Over-deliver because you're trying to earn approval instead of trusting your value. You don't know that you're worth more. What does the Bible say? You're worth more than diamonds and rubies. Period. You. The value that you provide in this marketplace, whatever you are selling, is priceless because it's you. And so you don't have to prove your worth. They purchased from you because they saw the value in your offer, and your offer is enough on its own, but you don't believe it. And that's why you over-deliver. You have imposter syndrome. And you think that by over-delivering, showing up, overextending yourself, it is going to prove to them that you are worthy. But you are already worthy when they purchase from you. They saw the value right then and there. That's why they did the transaction. They didn't pay you because they thought you couldn't deliver. They paid you because your offer was worthy. They needed you. You are called to that person. You're welcome. You are so welcome. All right. So number 3, you hide when it's time to sell. You won't show up. You will not show up for yourself. You won't give the price. You won't give the offer at all. You're afraid that your offer is going to scare people away. And guess what? It will. Your offer will scare people away. It will scare the people away who are not called to you. And it'll call in the people that are. So you need to let go of the fear that people are going to run from your offer. Everybody's selling right now. Especially right now. We're in Q4. We're about to head to Black Friday. Everybody is selling you something. The shirt on your back was sold to you. The phone you were looking at was sold to you. Why are you afraid to provide value? Ask yourself that. What are you afraid of when you have to give your offer? Are you afraid that you're going to be rejected? Are you afraid that it's not going to be enough? What is the underlying fear? When you can answer that question, you can start to reprogram. Rejected. Okay, so if you're afraid to be rejected, what happens when you get rejected? Do you, sorry, I'm trying to be TikTok friendly. What happens? Like literally, what is the worst case scenario? I personally just don't even try. Okay. So it's fear of being rejected is keeping you from trying. But did you ever stop to think that maybe if you tried, the opposite could be true? We as humans are programmed when we are operating from a place of scarcity. Let me rephrase this. When you are operating from a place of scarcity, from a place of survival, you program yourself to see worst case scenario. What does that mean? Your reticular activating system, this is your brain, this is the part of your brain that filters your reality. And so when you are operating from survival mode, from scarcity, what ends up happening is your brain proves that back to you. So when you say, I'm afraid to be rejected, what you are saying is, I've given this offer to somebody once and they said no, and therefore everybody's going to reject me. You are over complicating, or you are taking one data point. Let me say this clearly. You are taking one data point and saying that this is my reality. But the truth is, everybody is selling. And their no could lead to 5 yeses if you were willing to be consistent and show up for yourself and tell yourself that their no does not dictate who I am, does not dictate whether my offer is good enough. But you have been programmed to think that my offer, your offer, is for everybody and that you are speaking to everybody. But no, your voice has a sound and it is called to the people that it is called to. And once you recognize that their no gets you one step closer to the yes, you keep going, you get excited, and you push forward. Because you are either learning something or you're succeeding. Every time you continue, you are learning something or you are succeeding. The only thing that not showing up for yourself will just continue to prove to you that you can't be successful. So if you want to be successful, you have to show up. You have to step into it, and you have to give yourself a micro proof along the way that you are moving into the successful woman, the wealthy woman that you want to be. That's how you retrain your brain. And that's what I teach inside of No More Broke Habits. How to retrain your brain for wealth so that you can have 6-figure habits. All right. So number 4 on this list is you avoid help. Like I said it a few minutes ago, I'm a single mom of 3 kids. I have a full-time job and 2 businesses. I have my coaching business and I have my jewelry business. I don't have time to not accept help. But let me tell you how much I fought it. Preaching to myself right now. I fought help like it was the worst possible thing for me to ask somebody to step in and help me do anything. I thought I had to be Superwoman. I thought that if anybody had to show up and help me, that I was failing, that I wasn't a good enough mom, that I wasn't a good enough businesswoman, that I just wasn't good enough. How many of you all have ever felt that? Like you know you need help. You know that you are not capable of being everything for everybody by yourself, but you are so afraid to ask for help because you think that it is going to say that you are not good enough. Newsflash, sis, you're human. Humans are not capable of being God, of being God. We are not omnipresent. Just the truth. That's why you create systems to delegate and you focus on what is the main thing. And then it either gets taken over or So when you ask for help, this is something I had to learn. Sometimes asking for help is letting people do things the way that they want to do it. And being okay as long as the end result gets to where it needs to be. It may not be your path. It may not be your system and how you do it, but it gets done. Teenagers and dishes, let me just tell you. If you have a teenager who washes dishes in your household, you know they are not going to wash them dishes exactly how you want it. They are not going to load that dishwasher exactly how you want it. They are not going to wipe that counter down exactly how you want it. Just being honest. No matter how many times you show them how to wash that dish, how to load that dishwasher, and how to wipe them counters, you're going to come back and you're going to find something that was not done right. And you are either going to drive yourself crazy because the help didn't show up the way that you wanted it to, or you're going to be like, I'm going to be at peace with the fact that it got done. It may not be perfect, but it is done, and it is one less thing that I had to do. That's what help looks like. It is not you You did not create little clones of you to get these tasks done. You have delegated the tasks that you know you don't need to focus on so that you can focus on the main thing. And that's where most people miss it. They think that by asking for help, you are going to get your level of work out of the person that you're delegating it to. And that may not be the case. But if it is done, and it is done in a way that is I'll reframe this from a business standpoint, because I was talking about teenagers. Sometimes I just have to go back and rewipe the kitchen counter a little bit. She missed something. But let me talk about from a business perspective. You are delegating out your tasks, your admin tasks, right? Your admin tasks may not get done in the same order that you want, but if you have laid the foundation of this is how it should look, and you have hired effectively, you should be able to trust that your admin is going to show up the way you need them to, and it's going to be done right. But that's how you delegate, so that you can focus on building the business, because you are the visionary. You are the person that is the driving force of your business. But when you bring in the skill sets that you need from people, you are hiring people that share your vision. You have communicated your vision well enough that when they step in, even if they don't do it XYZ or ABC exactly how you do it, and they go XYZ, but it still gets the end goal done, it doesn't matter, because now you have the clarity and the space to focus on growing the business. Read the book 10X is easier than 2X. It'll change your life and how you think about things. Most people in their businesses say, we're coming up on the end of 2025. I made $100,000 this year with my business. Next year, I want to double that. That's how most people think about their business. That book taught me that that's insanity in its own way, because to get 2X goals, you have to double output, right? So if you want to have $200,000 next year, let's say you did that in 10 clients this year. Next year, that means you have to do 20 clients, or you got to raise your prices. Those are your only options, really. 20 clients or raise your prices. When you move into a 10X level of thinking, you're like, okay, I want to go from 100,000 this year to 1 million next year. There is only going to be one or two paths to make that happen. One or two. Once you lock in on the path you're going to follow, you cannot deviate. You can't go over here and say, I'm going to do this over here, because that won't get you to the 10X goal. So you have to focus in on the path, which means you have to delegate your systems that still need to run, because your business still needs to run. Your clients still need to be served. There are things that still need to happen. Content still needs to get posted, whatever, right? You have to delegate those tasks to people who are capable, and so that you can focus on the 10X goal and making the 10X goal happen. And the only way that is going to happen is if you are willing to ask for help. So long story short, if you are unwilling to ask for help, you are the reason that your business is not performing the way that you want it to perform. And last but not least, we're on to number 5. Sorry, let me just help you can see it. Number 5, you hustle nonstop. You are caught up in hustle culture of productivity over actual progress, because stillness makes you feel exposed. How many of you all, this is something that I noticed in myself, and I'm curious if any of you all have ever noticed this as well. You have been subscribed to hustle culture so much that you literally hide the fact that you rest from people. How many of y'all do that? Let me know. Tap the screen or say something in the comments. You literally hide rest from other people. So you wait until nobody's looking. You'll wait. Like for me, I noticed that what I would do is when the kids weren't home, I would go sit on the couch, or I'd go hide in my room, and I would take a break when nobody was looking. And the minute they got home, I'm like, oh, nope, I'm doing something. I'm running around. I got to get this done. Or I'd wait until bedtime and everybody was asleep. I'd go lock myself in my room, And I'd get my little snack, my glass of wine, whatever that looked like. And I would pretend like I had a bunch of stuff to do, and that's what I tell them, but then I'd be going in my room hiding because I needed a break. And I didn't need them to know that I took a break. You don't do that, but you get worried when it gets quiet. Okay. I grew up in Detroit. Detroit is known for hustle culture. They will tell you, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That is a mantra there. That is a lifestyle. We are always hustling. We are always trying to work on something. It doesn't matter if that work is actually moving us towards the goal. And so when you subscribe to that level of thinking, what ends up happening is you will take any task just to feel like you're doing something instead of working towards a goal, following the strategy and staying on the plan. So it doesn't matter if today is supposed to be content batching day, where the plan is you're supposed to be batching your content. But because we are caught up in swipe culture, you can't even focus on the content batching long enough to get 5 to 10 videos complete. You're switching back and forth between posting content, refining your offer, cleaning the kitchen, and trying to whatever that long laundry list of 20 things that you got to get done is. And you're not focused on getting it done. And so what you'll find is you're so stuck in hustle culture of, I'm going to get the content batching done, and then I'm going to clean the kitchen, and then I'm going to do the laundry, and then I'm going to refine this offer. And you don't spend long enough on getting the thing that you said you're going to get done, that the needle never moves. You've got a basket of unfinished tasks or half-finished tasks. That's what hustle culture will do to you. Hustle culture will make you think that, well, I got all these things half done, so I made progress. But you didn't focus on the main thing. And so the main thing is the income driving task that you need to get done. And so you didn't finish the plan, and then you're wondering why your business is stagnant. Am I wrong? How many of you have fallen into the trap like that? You feel like I got all these 5 things done. And so because I got these 5, halfway done of these 5 things, I've made progress. I'm sorry. To be fair, I'm calling my own self out because these are the shifts that I had to, these are the mindset shifts that I had to make in order to have success. And these are not things that we are taught. They are learned by watching wealthy people operate and be successful, by being willing to be taught, being a disciple, because having discipline and being a disciple and always learning, right? So being a disciple means you're always learning. Discipline is the same root. You're disciplined to stay the course, and you are learning what it takes to have successful habits. And successful people know how to plan their day accordingly so that they actually move the needle. They don't just have a basket of half-finished tasks. All right? So which one of these 5 things that we went through hit the hardest for you? I want to know. Was it you underprice, you over-deliver, you hide when it's time to sell, you avoid help, or you hustle nonstop? Let me know in the comments which one is speaking to you loudest right now. Avoid help? Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the one thing I want you to know, you never start. So never starting, that's procrastination. That's the I need more information. I know what to do, but I don't feel like I'm capable of doing it, or I'm afraid that if I do it, I'll do it wrong. So never starting, that's procrastination. But you tailor it under the guise of, I just need more information. I don't know enough. It's imposter syndrome. It's freeze. So if you think about it from a nervous system perspective, you're in fight or flight or freeze, you're frozen. You are stuck in indecision, and until you take a step forward and do something, you will never be able to achieve more. No one but lacking the confidence. Yep. So what you need to do is support yourself in terms of where have you actually shown up as capable. In my course, No More Broke Habits, I teach people how to retrain their brain and rewire it so that they can show themselves that they are capable of following the plan and sticking to the plan and receiving the things that they need, right? So in your case, you have the idea from somewhere, right? You already know the information, but like you said, you are talking yourself into thinking that you are incapable. But there is some area of your life where you have already shown yourself as capable, even if it's just a small area. And what you have to do as you are taking steps towards whatever the goal is, you have to remind yourself, hey, we did this before over here. Same scenario, different, or same type of action, different scenario, right? So your brain has to feel safe with you being able to with you knowing that you are able to be able to do this and to support yourself. Because when you are stuck in survival thinking, you are stuck in, I have, like, your survival patterns are, these are the things I know that keep us safe. If you do anything inconsistent to what has kept you safe today, your brain interprets it as dangerous, even though that's where you're trying to move to. So becoming a wealthy woman is perceived by your brain as dangerous simply because you have never done it before. We don't know what you're doing. Stop. This is scary. I'm afraid to do this because I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. That's what survival mode does to you. That's what freezing and fighting and running away does. The only way you're going to get over it is to do it. And I know that's the answer. No, but that's the simple but hard answer. You don't get over something by thinking yourself through it. You get over something by doing it. And that's hard. It is. It's hard. Sis, preaching to the choir here. I created this course because of me. These are the steps that I had to follow to get over my fear of success. Honest answer. I was so afraid of what us being a successful woman would look like that I literally talked myself out of it. I would get right here. You know how you just get right there and you just like, I know if I just keep going, I'm going to do it. And then I'd be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. I don't know if I have the energy. I was so afraid of the responsibility. I'm an oldest daughter. I was like, I don't need more responsibility. I got 3 kids, 2 jobs. What do you mean I need to start this business? Because I was mad. I was like, what do you mean I'm starting another business? This ain't enough? But God was like, no, this is where you're supposed to be. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, I didn't want that level of responsibility. I was afraid to show up. And it showed up big time because I procrastinated. I overthought. I wouldn't even invest in courses. I was a person that was afraid to even invest in myself because I was so scared of being successful, because I knew if you gave me the information, I'd figure out how to make it work. I don't need that much money. Girl, that mindset right there is a trap, because it tells you that it's the trap that tells you that I just need just enough. But it's always a moving target, because just enough changes based on inflation. It's a mindset trap that tells you I'm okay with being less than successful. You don't tell your kids, oh, you don't want to be just smart enough. You tell your kids, go and be the smartest person that you can be. Go get the information. You don't tell an athlete, I just want to be just good enough. Most athletes, especially on the professional level, they want to be the number one person in their field, right? You don't want to be just enough. Why are you doing that with your money? Why are you doing that with your business and telling yourself good is okay or just enough is okay? That's the mindset trap that you have to break. That's what you have to shift. You have to tell yourself, like, I literally look in the mirror every single day and I tell myself, I deserve to be rich. And I say it with conviction. I deserve to be rich. And I put my hand on my chest and I feel whatever feelings that come up with that, because there's feelings that come up with it. And there are a lot of uncomfortable feelings. But I tell myself, you know what? I already am walking in wealth. I literally am. Like, you can see, look, this ain't a cheap house. My day job, by all intents and purposes, I'm a successful woman with just my day job. And most people would get content to stay there. But the truth is, a job will keep you just over broke. I did. When I got that job, when I hit 6 figures, I was like, I'm going to ruin this. I literally almost did ruin it. No lie. This job, let me turn off my oven real quick. But anywho, this job that I work right now, this was the job that took me to 6 figures. And I literally almost ruined it because it was different from what I was doing before. I am an accountant by trade. My degree is in accounting. I was an accountant for 7-8 years before I got this job. I can't remember. I lost track. I've been with this company for 6 years. But in my first year, it was a training course. I was moving from doing day-to-day accounting to selling accounting software. I'm a sales engineer. And so my job is to show people how to utilize that software to make sure that their business is operating the way that it needs to. Y'all, I was so scared of success. And I was looking at all the people that joined that training class with me. There were 20 people that joined that training class with me. I told myself, man, I'm the oldest one here. And I was. I'm not going to lie. I was 31 years old when I started that job. All of the people that came in with me were like 25 to 27. So just that alone made me feel isolated. I was the only person when I started that job that had a family. I was married and I had 2 kids at that point. And so my brain kept telling me that I don't fit in. Oh, girl, you say no more. That was me. The mindset blocks that hit when I stepped into this job. I had every reason in the book to tell myself why I wasn't going to be good enough. Do you know that once I let go of those mindset blocks and I realized I deserve to be here, I started outperforming my classmates. I started outperforming them because I had a level of knowledge that they didn't have. When my first year, when they were praying to close 1 and 2 deals, I was closing 2 a month. I closed in my first year, not even a full year, 15 deals because I had a level of awareness on what my job was, the day-to-day, because they were all auditors. I did just to help you understand, there's different types of accounting you can get into. I was not an auditor. I did not work for the Big Four. I went and worked for Fortune 500 companies and I did the day-to-day work. I knew how to speak the language that they couldn't because they were too busy auditing the financial statements instead of doing the work. I closed deals left and right because I decided to get out of my own way. I decided to make a decision that regardless of how I feel, I deserve to be here. And then I started to show up for myself and trust that every time I passed a checkpoint that I was good enough. because I had it, like I said, it was a training class first. And then when I went out live and started working with customers, every time I spoke to a customer, I may not know exactly what to say, but I know how to get answers. And then I started knowing what to say. And then I started to be successful because I didn't allow my feelings to overshadow who I was. Feelings are not facts. So in order to change your mindset, I just kind of walked you through what I did. I just saw your question right there. But I began to support myself and teach myself to think that I'm successful. I retrained my brain. I retrained my reticular activating system. Once again, your reticular activating system, or your RAS, is your brain's filter. It is the filter of what you believe is true. You get millions of inputs coming at you at any given second. And with those millions of inputs, your brain cannot handle them all. So it filters down on what you believe to be true. So if you believe something to be true, your brain is going to prove it back to you. Whatever you think, say, or do, right? So within my course and my workbook, No More Broke Habits, what I do is I teach you how to recognize where your brain is operating on a broken system. And then from there, we create statements that teach your brain where it is you want to go. And then we support that through other actions, through proof, through actual proof. We're not lying to your brain. We are teaching it to find real proof of what happened and the truth so that it can start to believe a different path. Whatever you do, your brain has to believe it, because if your brain does not believe it, what ends up happening is you literally will make yourself crazy, because your brain is what keeps you alive. So it has to be truth in order for you to believe it, in order for you to stay sane. So the question for you all is, how many of you all know that you need to retrain your brain but don't know how to do it, or want some help getting your focus so that you can make your business successful, make your money successful, make your life successful? Because once again, however you do one thing is how you do everything. Your belief in yourself is your ability to believe in yourself and have the confidence to step into the next level is the piece that will take you. Let me say this better, because my brain is running too fast. Your ability to believe in yourself and take steps even when you don't see it is what is going to allow you to step into the next level. You don't get to the next level by it showing up. You get to the next level by you doing the things that take you to the next level, and then you arrive there. Okay. So cognitive-based therapy is great in some ways. And subliminals do help. If you're interested in the workbook, the link is absolutely on my bio. You're welcome to grab it. I'm not a therapist, I'm an accountant, but this is what I understand about subliminals and cognitive and CBT. CBT is great when you need to talk something out, but it doesn't necessarily take you to change. It just allows you to let it out. It allows you to feel the feelings. It doesn't transform you. What I have learned in my own therapy journey is that CBT is great if I just need to rehash things and let it out and talk about something. When I wanted to affect real change, it's like information. Okay. If I wanted to affect real change, I had to step into almost like a retraining. So I did EMDR therapy to help me get to my next level. Not everybody needs EMDR therapy. I had a very traumatic childhood, but that's neither here nor there. But what you do need is a system that allows you to be able to follow the steps for transformation. That's what my workbook does. So what the workbook does is it takes you, it's 12 steps that you can follow. And I know 12 steps seems like a lot, but if you take it day by day or even week by week, because some of it is systematized. You are taking statements that allow you to feel safe and see yourself and make it true to you. Your brain needs 21 days to create a habit. So 21 days is the starting point of creating a habit. 90 days to literally reprogram your brain, if I'm remembering correctly. Your brain, everybody knows the grooves. Like when you see a brain, you see the grooves on your brain. Those are the neuron paths and how your brain fires. Those are what those grooves do. You can actually make those grooves go smooth and create a new one by retraining your habits. That's what I'm teaching you in the workbook, is how to rewire your brain so that you see overflow in whatever context you want to see it in. So you create the goal based on the formula, and then you follow the formula and you rewire your brain day by day. Okay. Your brain will trick you if you allow it. What you have to do when those thoughts come, I don't know if you've ever heard this, you don't have to keep the thoughts that come, right? Our brains are doing what it's supposed to do. The thoughts come, you don't have to accept them. When those thoughts come, I literally have days when I have a thought that I'm like, that does not align with who I am. And I have to, and it can be loud, because thoughts get loud. Sometimes they yell, even if you don't want them to. And when those thoughts start to yell, you know what I have to do? I yell back. I literally will yell back. I'll be like, hold up. No, that is not who I am. And then I go find proof of who I actually am. And I know, like, I'm sure I try not to do it when other people are around, but every once in a while I have a moment where I'm like, this thought is loud. Let me get it together. So I might look a little crazy, but I am telling myself that I don't allow. Brain, you don't control me. I control you. That's the reality. I am in control. So you are welcome to have the thought, but I will not allow you to run me. And that's what you have to do. And it'll get a little crazy in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, it will. You will have, because survival mode. Remember, survival mode is trained to keep you safe. And those thoughts in the past did keep you safe. They got you to where you are today. So you can be like, thank you. I see that you are trying to keep me safe right now, but I'm good. I'm trying to go over here. And you can have those types of conversations with yourself. And the more you have those types of conversations, the more that your brain will calm down, because you're supporting it. That's the part that people are missing. You're missing the support. Most people get that thought and they think, oh, that's a sign that I need to stop. No, that is not a sign you need to stop. That is a sign that you need to support yourself, because doubt is just survival mode coming up trying to keep you safe. And you need to tell yourself, hey, I'm safe. I got this. I got XYZ years of experience. I know this feels uncomfortable right now, but we did this before. Yesterday we did this and we were just fine. We did not die. Sorry, TikTok. But we are okay. We can keep going. And the more you get comfortable with doing that for yourself, the easier it'll become. All right, so we have talked through the 5 areas where we're keeping ourselves stuck and are keeping ourselves from being visible. We have talked about how we reprogram our brain. So now we want to talk about why this matters, right? Every year, let me be clear. Every year we all start this time of year, usually around November, December, saying next year is my year. Next year, I'm going to get this together. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make 6 figures, whatever, right? Insert the goal. I'm going to lose this weight. We've all done it. And by February, so I talked about the 5 things keeping you invisible. I didn't give steps specifically. I talked about why you might be operating from a visibility wound. So you underprice, you over-deliver, you hide when it's time to sell, you avoid help, and you hustle nonstop. And then I talked about how you can retrain your brain to see success. So I taught you how your reticular activating system proves to you what you believe. So if you think that money is hard, or if you think that I have to work hard to have money, that nobody will buy from me if my prices aren't lower than everybody else's, your brain is proving that back. It's called scarcity thinking. And then we talked about how you can support yourself by shifting your thoughts and then walking through the actions that you of the 6-figure woman or whoever you're trying to be. That's who I'm talking about today. The women who are tired of saying they want a business, but then not following through on the habits that it takes to have that business and are keeping them from being successful. All right. So now we're talking about how this is how your brain literally talks you out of doing the next step. Every year you say, this is going to be my year. You start reflecting on what it is you are aiming to have for 2026. And you say, this is going to be my year that I do insert whatever it is, right? And by February, you're back in survival mode. You went to the gym for the first 2 weeks, you got tired and you quit. Not because you didn't want it, but because your mind and your money are still on last year's settings, right? You are still operating from last year's habits, last year's thought processes. And you thought that going to the gym was going to be enough to keep you going. Newsflash, it's not. You have to change the settings, and just going to the gym is not enough. So that's where my No More Broke Habits coaching course exists, so that you can retrain your brain for overflow before the new year starts, or while you're supporting yourself through the new year, right? Like I said, you quit because it got hard. You got motivation. Motivation is the dopamine hit you need to get going, but discipline is what keeps you going. And most people lack discipline. They got plenty of motivation, but it eventually tapers off as the work hits. And then they lack the discipline to keep going. So I'm doing an early access round, or an early access sale today for my course. Lord, I can't talk. And it's to reward women who are ready. My next cohort starts the second week in January. And the reason it starts the second week in January is because it is there to help you sustain the lack of motivation that's going to hit in that moment. Because the first week you're fired up. Second week is when motivation starts to taper off. And you need the discipline to hold you and keep you into the habit, right? So if you all are interested in getting into the course, say me. I have 3 spots available at a discount if you're interested. The normal course price is $497, but I'm willing to offer a couple hundred off today for 3 people if they are ready to move now on this live. Just let me know, say me in the comments, and I will change the price for you. If not, I'm gonna hop off of here and go get some lunch. I gave you guys some really good information, which is always my goal. And I told you how, I actually gave you a lot of the steps that we cover. I gave you the beginning points of what we cover in class so that you can get a jump start. The class, it's 10 weeks. We meet weekly on Thursday, 7 p.m. I always record so that if you can't make it, you can go back and rewatch the recording. You'll have a community of women. I have 15 seats available for January. 15 women that you will be able to work with and have support you. So you've got community while you're retraining your habits. And you'll get resources. So you'll get the workbook. The workbook comes with the course. You will get, today only, if you buy on this live, you will get my Breaking the Poverty Mindset journal included. And you will get resources as we're going through. I do create resources to help support you throughout this. So if you are ready, like I said, put a me in the comments and I'll go change the price. I'll show you how to get it. If you need a payment plan, I do take payment plans. It's on my website. You can break it into however, I think it's 4Pay on my website, because I know you, okay. I know that some people need that as they're trying to get it together, but I'll go ahead and I'll mark the price down right now. I'm marking it down to $297, and then I'll show you how to get to it. So you're gonna click the picture on the top left-hand corner of my screen. You're gonna click my picture. And hold on one second. I think before you click, let me edit something really quick. All right, it is now updated so that you can get to the correct link. So if you go on to my profile and you click my picture, I'm gonna show you exactly where to click. You'll see right here, there is a link that you can click on. You hit open anyway. You are going to want to go to the No More Broke Habits 10-week course. And you'll see right here, it's marked down for you. You can go ahead and get in here today. And like I said, if you do it on the live and let me know when it's done, I'll go ahead and I'll send you the journal too. So you get, once you get into the class today, you'll get the workbook automatically sent to you. Once I get confirmation, I'll send the journal too. The journal, you can use it to get you started. It is a precursor to the course before it starts in January. What it'll do is it'll help you to recognize where you're operating from scarcity and from money wounds, so that when we start in January, you have a head start on where you need to reposition your mind. All right. So with that, I'll be on here. I'll give you a couple of minutes to get this together. So I'll give you till what, 1:12. That's 5 minutes from now. Let me know that you've got it done, and we can go from there. And while I'm waiting, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. Oh, Lord, turn this stupid thing on. All right. So just as a quick recap, today we covered why you have, or what your visibility wound looks like. So in this case, we covered that you underprice because being paid well feels like being too much. You over deliver because you're trying to earn approval instead of trusting your value. You hide when it's time to sell because you don't want to come off as salesy. So you're calling it rest when it's really retreat, or like I said, you're just afraid to sell. You think that if you sell, that you're going to be looked at differently, or that you are incapable of doing it. You avoid help. You don't know how to delegate. You think that you have to have your hand on every single thing in order to be successful. And you hustle nonstop. You have 50 million tabs open and only 5 of them are half complete. And you think you've made progress when you don't actually follow a strategy or a plan. And so you are now stuck and you're not achieving the lifestyle that you want to live. You're not achieving the business plans because you haven't followed through on anything. You just hustle and think it's progress, but you never get anything done. So if you are operating from any of those places, you have a visibility wound. You are afraid to be seen. And because you are afraid to be seen, you cannot walk into the success that you want to have. Because having success means being visible. And I'm not just talking about on social media. I'm talking about across all areas of your life. You don't get the $1 million business and not have some level of visibility. And if you can't show up and just see your own self in the mirror without looking away, acting like you don't see anything, y'all, this is the real. You have a visibility wound if when you look in the mirror as your authentic self, you look away. Ask me how I know. I had to teach myself how to see myself authentically and not be scared to see her, hurt to see her, or feel like she wasn't good enough. I literally had to start looking in the mirror every day and stop picking myself apart and just hold my gaze and feel safe seeing her, seeing me, not even her, me, and telling me that I'm enough. That was hard. The first time I did it, I broke down into tears. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I'm just going to show up as myself. I'm not going to pick myself apart. I turned on a song and I started dancing. And y'all, if y'all want a good laugh, I'm mixed. And the white side comes out when I dance. And I am hypercritical of myself because of it, because everybody thinks I should be able to dance and I really can't. And so I like to dance. I actually really like to dance, but I'm not good at it. And so I turned on some music. I went and looked in the mirror and I watched myself with my awkward hands and my slightly offbeat moves. And I said, I'm going to look at myself in this and I'm going to love myself through it. And guess what I did? I started bawling, boo-hooing. And I had no idea that was going to be the reaction. But you know what? I needed to. I needed to see myself and be okay with who I was. And the minute I did that was the minute my life started to shift for the good. How many of you all can look yourself in the mirror and not pick yourself apart? How many? Let me know in the comments if you can look yourself in the mirror and do it and not pick yourself apart. It took me a long time to get there. I was in my 30s before I could really, truly do it. And there's no shame here. It is not shame to own that you are afraid to see yourself authentically, but it is a place of awareness so that you can start to show yourself where you need growth. And we all have areas that we're growing in. We all do. Because we were put on this earth to learn lessons and to grow and to become who it is God called us to be. So it's no shame in me saying that, but I am letting you know that if you are struggling with that, you have a visibility wound. And the minute that you start to accept yourself for who you are and show up, all the other things as it relates to your business will fall into place. You won't underprice. You won't over-deliver. You won't hide when it's time to sell. You won't avoid help, and you won't hustle nonstop because you see you and you love you. All right? So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm about to go grab some lunch because it's 1:15 my time. I'll be back tonight. I hope y'all have a great night, and I will talk to y'all soon.